Yo, testing one, two. Well, I got my whole name on the screen. I can tell I ain't been one in a while. I got my whole uh, name on the screen. We definitely gotta hold up real quick. We definitely let's get that off the screen. Yo, what's going on? I appreciate everybody for tuning in. We are gonna talk real quick about a bankruptcy that was filed by one of presumably the biggest hip hop personalities, businessmen in the mid 90s, early 2000s, Damon Dash. As always, I'm Marcus here. We do attorney reactions to current events and trending news. If you enjoy something or find something entertaining, I invite you to hit the like button and subscribe. If you don't like it, hit the dislike button. Hey, interaction is interaction. Shout out to the folks who are supporting me, and a big salute to all of the channel members. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about this real quick because I want to be in and out on this video. Damon Dash filed a bankruptcy petition in Florida. Now, real quick, we're going to talk briefly about the three types of bankruptcy petition. Okay, first of all, we have a Chapter 13 bankruptcy, a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. Hey. A chapter uh, a chapter 13 bankruptcy is essentially a repayment plan for individuals. Debtor pays off creditors and they pay them off over the course of a 3 to 5 year period. This is typically best suited for those who have a regular income and want to keep assets like their home. So you're talking about typically a person who has a W 2 9 to 5. Then you have Chapter 11 bankruptcy, which is a reorganization. You see, this is often for businesses or high net worth individuals with complex debts, and it allows restructuring of the debt while keeping control of assets. This is typically what you see a lot of businesses file. This is what uh, current President Trump has filed multiple times in his business career. Then we have a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. Now, Chapter bankruptcy is more what you see for individuals who just are in really financial despair. Is a straight liquidation. Assets are sold off, except for non-exempt assets to pay creditors. What is a non-exempt asset? A non-exempt asset, well, essentially, bankruptcy allows you to file or have an exemption for certain assets to keep certain things like your car or certain things that you are required to have to help you to just continue and be able to function. It wouldn't make sense to have you sell off absolutely anything. Typically, this is used when a debtor has very little ability to pay. So, Chapter 7, complete liquidation for individuals. Chapter 11, reorganization for businesses. Chapter 13 is a repayment plan for individuals where you pay creditors over a 3 to 5 year period, typically for people with consistent income, W 2 type guys or guys with established businesses where they can prove assets. Now, I actually pulled up a shout out to R. Royster for, your boy got the there. You happy now? You happy now? So hey, yeah, I'm cool. You know what? It does feel a lot better too. So, what's the best chapter for student loan debt? Student loan debt is interesting because it's generally non-bankruptable, but there was one case. I can't remember when that one case was where the court actually allowed it to be discharged, but hey, generally student loans aren't forgivable via bankruptcy. But it was one case. I'll see if I can look it up before I get out of here. But it was one case where the courts actually allowed it, which was a rarity. And technically, I don't know how legal it was, but it did in fact happen. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think student loans have an actual statutory provision that causes them to be non bankruptable in a bankruptcy proceeding. So that's Dame Dash's. Those are the three forms of bankruptcy. Dame Dash clearly filed a Chapter 7. He doesn't have a consistent income. He's looking to liquidate his assets. Now, the bankruptcy petition, I have it, but we're not gonna look at it. But I am going to highlight one interesting thing that his attorney did that I thought was funny. Other attorneys may find it hilarious, but we are going to talk about that. Long story short, Dame Dash's bankruptcy essentially was the result of a lot of choices that I would like to call shit you probably could have possibly avoided. Okay. So recently, when he filed for bankruptcy, he's about $25 million in debt. A substantial portion of that is taxes, which, I mean, could be avoided. Another portion of that is child support fees and spousal support fees, which could be avoided. But he has these large debts. Now, what is the issue with this bankruptcy petition? Why is this bankruptcy petition actually weird? The reason it's weird is because he can't substantiate the value of a lot of businesses that he owes. So he would put, for instance, let me see if I can find one real quick. I got the petition up here, so let me see. Let me see if I can find a business name real quick that he has. Well, for instance, he would put a business entity. For instance, let's see, what can we find one with Mr. Damon Anthony Dash? Another reason for his debt, he has a lot of lawsuit judgments from attorney Chris Brown, Cindy Morales. A lot of people sued this dude, which, I mean, one of the lawsuits was for defamation, which is, again, shit you could avoid. Let's see, I'm trying to find this business that he named. Let's see if I can find it real quick so I can show y'all specifically what the big issue is specifically. And this shit's so damn long. Okay. All right. So right here, I'm looking at here. I'll go ahead and put it on the screen real quick so we can see it. I'm definitely not going through all of this stuff. Let's see. Case located. Middle District of Florida Live Database. Law firm. Okay, Middle District of Florida. All right, so right now we got his bankruptcy petition up, and right here on page 17, you can see that Dame listed companies that he has an ownership interest in. Pompington LLC, 50% ownership. Current value portion that he owned is zero. So, I mean, 50% of nothing is nothing. What the hell is Poppington LLC? It was actually a clothing brand that he had. I seen him on an interview some years ago wearing it. But right here, this is going to be the problem. Blue Rock LLC, unknown percentage, valuated at zero. BlackRock LLC, 33%, current value unknown. Lebanon Improvements LLC, current value unknown. Ocean East Improvements LLC, current value unknown. Generally, what this means is the court is going to be reluctant to accept that shit. Like, you have to file your pleadings with specificity so that the courts can actually do a legitimate financial evaluation as to your status, your ability to potentially pay back creditors, what they're actually liquidating. Now, it's a crazy thing to file. Typically, the attorney would get this information from Damon Dash, or at best case scenario, the attorney would actually do some efforts to try to identify this. I'm just going to be honest. I think that the attorney just wanted to get paid to file this, and we're going to, and no shade to him. Hey, if a client come in your office, one, I don't think this is a frivolous lawsuit. Frivolous would be completely baseless. There's a legal definition and standard, so I don't think this is a frivolous lawsuit. I think it lacks specificity and detail, but I don't think it's frivolous. So I don't think the attorney who filed this, we're going to take a look at his firm real quick, would be in any issues with the bar association per se. But clearly, sometimes people come in your office, you want to, hey, get the money to handle the representation that you can handle. But one smart thing you want to do is limit yourself. Back in the day, a long time ago, many moons ago, when I had a law license and no job, so I was just taking cases on my own, I would oftentimes just go to the courthouse. Like, it's a Tuesday. I really didn't have any cases in court this day, but I knew if I threw on a suit, I'd go to the courthouse. I could probably make a couple $100 by people just needing attorney services right then and there. Now, people who needed services right then and there, oftentimes it weren't people who were using their due diligence to look for an attorney. It's most times, in my experience, it was people who been to court 3 or 4 times. They kept telling the judge they were going to hire an attorney. They never hire absolutely anybody, and they're begging for a continuance so that they could get a new court date. And the judge would not be inclined to give them a new court date, but the judge would be inclined to give an attorney a new court date. So, as an attorney, I'm walking around the courthouse. Someone like, hey, can you just do a motion to continue for me? I want to just kind of figure out if I can pay an attorney. Now, clearly, if someone's telling me that, I know that they don't have the ends right then and there to pay me. So what attorneys typically do is say, hey, I'll represent you for this very limited purpose of just asking for this continuous. I'm not continuous. I'm not going to write my name on your fucking file. When you come back in court, you better not tell this judge that I'm representing you, because I'm representing you in this very limited capacity just for this one thing. And in exchange for that, there's an engagement agreement where I say, hey, on this date at this time, you are retaining me to perform this specific isolate service. This service does not represent me appearing in court for any further, blah, blah, blah. You put all that stuff because it's only for this one thing. You give me $200, this continuous that the judge not going to give you, I'll give it to you, give you another month to go figure out what you want to do. Maybe get your money up and come holler at your boy, and we can figure something out on the representation side. So why do I think the attorney did this? Let's take a look real quick at the law firm. We're going to take a look at the law firm first, and then we'll pivot back to, let's take a look at the law firm that he retained to do this, and then we'll pivot back to the bankruptcy petition and look at the language that was placed in there. Again, no shade to the law firm. I probably would have done the same thing. I probably wouldn't have done the same thing, but a lot of attorneys would have done the same thing. So, Mr. Dash hired Zen Law. It's a law firm in Florida where he filed his bankruptcy petition. We can see on the screen what they specialize in: family law, construction, contract law. Those are the areas of practice. News. Let's take a look at their legal team. All right, their legal team is comprised of 4 attorneys. 4 attorneys make up their legal team. Let's take a look at the named partner of the firm is Brian Zen. He's the named partner of the firm. He has some cases up there. I'm not going to do a deep dive, but he clearly has some experience in bankruptcy court, clearly. Now, Mr. Zen, what was the scope of his representation with Damon Dash? Now, remember, if you have an attorney representing you 100%, they 10 toes down and representing you in this bankruptcy matter, they may negotiate with creditors on your behalf. They may make subsequent appearances. They are going to speak on your behalf to try to determine what assets may or may not be exempt from the bankruptcy procedure to allow the filer to keep as many assets as possible. Those are all the things that an attorney do, some of the things that an attorney would do if they are fully representing an individual. Let's take a look at the scope of the representation as outlined by by Damon Dash attorney. Let's pull this up real quick because I actually thought this was pretty hilarious. So right now we're going to go all the way down. Let's move this down all the way to the end of the bankruptcy file. All right. Now, this is very beautiful. When we get to the very last page, page 56, we're looking at paragraph 7. By agreement with the debtor, the above disclosed fee does not include the following service. All right. So how much did he get compensated to file this petition? $5,000. DFD, would you file this petition that, again, I don't think it's a frivolous position. I think it just doesn't have specificity. If somebody came to my office with $5,000 and all I have to do is file this petition that is not frivolous, would I do it? $5,000? $5,000 one-time fee to do one thing? And that's not a bad day's of work, right? Like that's not it. Probably I don't know how many hours it took him, but he clearly charged a flat fee because that's how you file or charge typically for bankruptcy procedures. But $5,000 with a $338 filing fee. Let's listen to the scope of the representation. What does this attorney limit his representation to? Representation of the debtor in any dischargeable actions. Okay, the agreement with the debtors, the above disclosed fee does not include any of the following services. Representation of the debtor in any discharge action. So I'm not representing you in a discharge action. I'm just filing this. Judicial lien avoidances, release from state actions or any other adversary proceedings, negotiations with secured creditors. Those are creditors who have a security interest in property, home, business, home, cars, anything that has a tangible value to it. Exemption planning, preparing and filing reaffirmation agreements or applications as needed. Preparation and filing of motions pursuant to 11C 522 blah 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 for avoidance of liens on household goods. What does that say in layman's terms? In layman's terms, what this attorney is saying is, Mr. Dash, I'm not representing you in anything outside of the filing of this document. Matter of fact, once I pay this $338 filing fee, my $5,000 check had already cleared. Once this is turned and stamped by the clerk and filed with the court, I no longer represent you. So if the court looks at this bankruptcy pleading and says, you named a bunch of businesses and you don't know how much they're worth, we can't accept this as a valid bankruptcy because it doesn't allow us enough information to do our job. You got to figure that out with someone else. You can hire someone else. You could come back to me with another $5,000 and maybe we would talk. I would probably charge this dude for full representation. He charged him $5,000 just to file it. I'm be honest, I probably wouldn't take it. If Damon Dash wanted me to take a full representation of his bankruptcy filing, I would probably say no. I think this is actually a smart move to take a $5,000 one-time payment just to file it and get gone. Because as vague as this bankruptcy filing is, and I'm just going to be honest, hey, I don't know you, Mr. Dash, but you seem like a pain in the ass client to work with, potentially, allegedly, hypothetically. I wouldn't even want to go down that road. $20,000, I would probably pass because this bankruptcy petition can be a pain, a thorn in your side that will require so much man hours that $20,000 wouldn't even be worth it. You all let me know. Would you do what this attorney did, a one-time fee of $5,000 just to file this bankruptcy petition? Or in the alternative, would you be willing to consider $20,000, $25,000 to accept full representation, talking with creditors, appearing in court, filing motions, reaffirmations? Me, I'm going to say hell no to that. I wouldn't be able to do it. Yo, that's it for this video. Y'all let me know what y'all think about it. What option would you choose? I think that this attorney made the move that was in the best interest of his sanity and his practice. As always, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about the artist known as David and the young girl who was found in his Tesla. That is actually a crazy case. We're going to dive into that tomorrow. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Y'all have a good night. Be blessed. Be safe. Peace.